Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the most underestimated era of opportunity in human history. And the craziest part, most people in this room are already holding the keys in their pockets. Social media is not a distraction. It's not a waste of time. It's not just entertainment. Social media is the greatest opportunity of our time period. Let me tell you why. For the first time ever, you do not need permission. You don't need money. You don't need a big office, a powerful network, or a fancy degree. You need a phone, an internet connection, and the courage to put yourself out there. That's it. That's the game. And most people are losing not because they can't win, but because they're too scared to play. Social media is the ultimate equalizer. A kid in a small town can compete with billion-dollar companies. A nobody can build a personal brand bigger than global corporations. Talent no longer hides in silence. It finds a microphone. And that microphone is social media. Here's the truth nobody likes to hear. Attention is the new currency. Not money. Attention. And social media is where attention lives. If you know how to capture attention ethically, honestly, and with value, you can build anything. A business, a career, a movement, a legacy. But here's where people mess it up. They consume instead of create. They scroll instead of build. They watch others win and then complain about their own life. Social media is the greatest equalizer in human history because it has removed the traditional barriers that once controlled success. In the past, opportunity was locked behind money, location, education, and powerful connections. If you were born in the wrong place or into the wrong circumstances, your chances were limited before you even started. Today, that reality has completely changed. With nothing more than a smartphone and an internet connection, anyone can compete on the same stage as global brands, celebrities, and industry leaders. This equalization comes from access to attention. Social media gives every individual the ability to speak, share, and be heard without asking for permission. You no longer need a television channel, a newspaper, or a corporate sponsor to spread your message. Platforms reward ideas, energy, and relevance, not background or status. A single video recorded in a bedroom can reach millions, while a massive company with a huge budget can be ignored if it fails to connect. That shift has never existed before in human history. What makes this powerful is that talent is no longer hidden. In earlier generations, brilliant people remained invisible simply because they lacked exposure. Today, exposure is free. Skills, creativity, knowledge, and personality can be showcased instantly to the world. This gives people from small towns, developing countries, and underprivileged backgrounds a real chance to change their lives. Geography no longer decides destiny. Execution does. Social media also levels the playing field between individuals and institutions. A personal brand built on trust and consistency can outperform companies with decades of history. Audiences connect with humans more than logos and platforms' authenticity. This allows individuals to build businesses, careers, and influence without massive infrastructure. One person creating daily content can build more trust than a corporation spending millions on advertising. However, the equalizer only works for those who take action. Everyone has access, but not everyone participates. Fear of judgment, lack of patience, and obsession with perfection stop most people from using this opportunity. Social media does not favor privilege. It favors persistence. The ones who show up every day, learn from feedback, and adapt over time are the ones who rise. This is why social media is not just a tool, it is a revolution. It has democratized opportunity, giving power to individuals instead of gatekeepers. The playing field has never been this fair, and the cost of entry has never been this low. For those willing to create, share, and stay consistent, social media becomes the ultimate equalizer, turning ordinary people into voices that can be heard across the world. Attention is the most valuable currency of our time because in a world overflowing with content, ideas, and information, what people choose to focus on determines what wins. Money follows attention, influence follows attention, and opportunities follow attention, and opportunities follow attention. It doesn't matter how talented you are, how good your product is, or how smart your idea sounds. If no one is paying attention, none of it matters. Attention is the gateway to impact. We live in an era where people are overwhelmed. Every second, thousands of posts, videos, ads, and messages compete for a few moments of someone's focus. This has changed the rules completely. The ability to capture and hold attention is now more important than traditional credentials or resources. Social media platforms are not just entertainment tools. They are marketplaces of attention, and those who understand how to operate in them gain massive leverage. Attention is powerful because it creates trust over time. When someone chooses to give you their attention repeatedly, they begin to recognize you, understand you, and eventually believe you. That belief is what turns viewers into followers, followers into supporters, and supporters into customers or advocates. This is why consistency matters so much. Attention is not rented once. It is earned daily through relevance, value, and authenticity. However, attention cannot be forced. It must be deserved. People don't want to be sold to. They want to be understood. Content that educates, entertains, or inspires earns attention naturally because it respects the audience. The brands and individuals who win are those who focus on giving value first, not extracting money immediately. In the long run, generosity becomes the most effective strategy. Attention is also fragile. It can be lost the moment content feels fake, desperate, or disconnected from reality. This is why authenticity beats perfection. People pay attention to real stories, real struggles, and real growth. Polished content might look impressive, but honest content builds connection. Social media rewards those who speak like humans, not advertisements. The real advantage today is not having attention once, but knowing how to convert attention into long-term relationships. Anyone can go viral. Very few can stay relevant. Sustainable success comes from understanding your audience, listening to feedback, and adapting without losing your core message. Attention is not about chasing trends blindly. It's about showing up consistently with a point of view people care about. In this era, those who master attention don't just grow online. They create opportunities offline as well. Careers, businesses, partnerships, and movements are built on the foundation of attention. When you understand that attention is the currency, you stop chasing money directly and start focusing on impact, knowing that everything else will follow. Consistency and patience beat talent and luck because success in the modern world is no longer about one big moment, but about showing up repeatedly over a long period of time. Talent can open doors and luck can create opportunities, but neither can sustain growth without consistent effort. Social media, business, and personal branding reward those who are willing to do the boring work long after the excitement fades. Consistency builds familiarity, and familiarity builds trust. When people see you show up day after day, sharing ideas, experiences, and value, you become part of their routine. That repeated exposure matters more than one brilliant post or viral moment. A talented person who posts once a month will always lose to a disciplined person who shows up every day. Over time, consistency compounds in ways that talent alone never can. Patience is the multiplier that makes consistency work. Most people underestimate how long meaningful results take. They expect instant feedback, fast growth, and quick validation. When that doesn't happen, they quit. This is where patience becomes an unfair advantage. Those who understand that real progress happens quietly in the beginning stay in the game while others drop out. By the time results become visible, the patient person is already far ahead. Luck often gets credit for outcomes that were actually earned through persistence. What looks like an overnight success is usually the result of years of unnoticed effort. Consistent action increases the surface area for luck to occur. The more you create, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get. And the better you get, the more opportunities come your way. Luck is not random. It favors those who stay active. Consistency also allows room for growth and adjustment. Nobody starts perfect. Early content is often average, messy, or ignored. But every post is feedback. Every failure is data. People who remain consistent learn what works, what doesn't, and how to improve. Those who rely only on talent often avoid failure because it challenges their identity. As a result, they stop evolving. Patience keeps ego in check. It shifts focus from short-term validation to long-term impact. Instead of asking, "Why am I not winning yet?" patient people ask, "What can I do better today?" That mindset leads to continuous improvement. Over months and years, small daily actions turn into massive results. In a world obsessed with speed, consistency and patience feel boring, but they are powerful. They don't create noise, they create foundations. And foundations are what hold everything up when attention, trends, and algorithms change. Documenting your journey is more powerful than chasing perfection because people connect with progress, not polish. Perfection creates distance, while documentation creates trust. When you share your real experiences, the wins, the losses, the confusion, and the growth, you become relatable. Social media is not about proving how flawless you are. It's about showing how human you are. Perfection often stops people before they even begin. They wait for the right time, the right setup, the right confidence, or the right results. That waiting turns into procrastination, and procrastination turns into regret. Documentation removes that pressure. It allows you to start where you are with what you have and grow in public. That honesty is what keeps people watching. When you document, you invite others into your process. You're not presenting yourself as an expert on a pedestal. You're walking alongside your audience. This creates a stronger emotional connection because people see themselves in your struggle. They don't just consume your content, they root for you. They want to see what happens next, and that ongoing story builds long-term attention. Documentation also accelerates learning. When you share what you're doing and thinking in real time, you get feedback faster. You learn what resonates, what confuses people, and what needs improvement. This real-world feedback is more valuable than silent practice. Perfection hides mistakes. Documentation turns mistakes into lessons for you and for others. Another powerful aspect of documenting is credibility. Over time, your content becomes proof of work. Anyone can claim success, but documented progress shows effort, growth, and consistency. It creates a timeline of evolution that no polished highlight reel can replace. People trust those who show their journey more than those who only show results. Chasing perfection often leads to copying others, which makes content forgettable. Documenting your own journey makes your content unique by default. No one else has your exact experiences, perspective, or lessons. That uniqueness is your competitive advantage. Even if your skills are still developing, your point of view is already valuable. Most importantly, documentation builds confidence. The more you share, the less you fear judgment. You realize that progress matters more than approval. Over time, the act of showing up publicly strengthens your voice and clarity. You stop trying to impress and start trying to help. In a world full of filters, edits, and highlight reels, real journeys stand out. Documenting your path turns your everyday efforts into meaningful content and transforms ordinary moments into connection. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present and consistent. The biggest risk today is not starting at all, because the cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of failure. In the current era, opportunities move fast, platforms evolve, and attention shifts quickly. Waiting for the perfect moment does not protect you. It slowly removes you from the game. While you hesitate, others with less skill, less knowledge, and less experience are building momentum simply because they started. Not starting is comfortable. It feels safe because it avoids judgment, failure, and uncertainty. But comfort is deceptive. It creates the illusion of security while silently stealing time. Every day spent overthinking is a day lost to learning. Progress only happens through action, and action is the only way clarity appears. You don't figure things out before you start. You figure things out before you start. You figure them out by starting. Fear is usually the real reason people don't begin. Fear of being ignored. Fear of being criticized. Fear of not being good enough. But these fears exist whether you act or not. The difference is that action turns fear into experience, and experience turns fear into confidence. Staying still keeps fear alive. Movement weakens it. Social media and modern opportunities reward early participation, not perfect execution. Algorithms, audiences, and skills all favor those who have history. The longer you wait, the steeper the learning curve becomes. Not because you can't do it, but because you delayed building experience. Starting today gives you data. Starting tomorrow gives you excuses. Failure is not the danger. Stagnation is. A failed post teaches more than a successful idea that never gets shared. Every attempt creates feedback, and feedback is how growth happens. People who start early collect lessons, while those who wait collect regrets. Most successful outcomes are built on a pile of imperfect attempts. Not starting also damages self-belief. Over time, while hesitation becomes a habit, you begin to doubt your ability, not because you're incapable, but because you've trained yourself to avoid action. Starting, even in a small way, reverses that pattern. One post, one idea, one step creates momentum, and momentum changes identity. The modern world does not punish beginners, it ignores them until they improve. That's actually a gift. It gives you space to be bad, to experiment, and to grow without pressure. But that gift only exists if you enter the game. The real tragedy is not failing publicly. It's never trying privately. In an era full of access and opportunity, the greatest risk is standing still while time keeps moving. Social media is not just a platform, it is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. It has removed gatekeepers, rewarded consistency over talent, and given ordinary people the power to build extraordinary lives. Those who understand the tension, document their journey, stay patient, and take action will always have the advantage. The opportunity is already in your hands. The only real question is whether you choose to use it now or look back later wishing you had started when it mattered most. Thank you.